the time when most of us look forward to eating great food. So I'd love to celebrate it like the ancient Babylonians, which, by the way, was the first civilization to celebrate New Year's about 4,000 years ago. And I know, as usual, the Americans thought they invented it, you know, a couple hundred years ago. Like, nobody did this before. It's not even possible. They even had the tradition of resolutions, the most popular being the return of farming equipment. Boy, they really knew how to throw a party, and it lasted 11 days. So I guess starting today and the next 10 days after this, you have any excuse you want to celebrate. So New Year's began with the first full moon after the vernal equinox. You would think the beginning of spring would be a better time with the season of rebirth and the planting of new crops. But January 1st was selected for some reason. The Romans celebrated in March until Julius Caesar created the Julian calendar and placed it back to January 1st. He's pretty smart, that guy. If we miss the traditional January New Year's, we can always celebrate the Chinese New Year, February 12th, and the Jewish New Year of Rosh Hashanah, September 15th. It seems that universally, New Year's Day is a time of new beginnings, looking forward to your future and changes. In Spain, 12 grapes are eaten as the clock strikes midnight. The Dutch, they eat donuts. Sounds good. Anything in the shape of a circle, though, is considered good luck. The Italians have cotticino con lettuce, which basically is sausage and lentils. And in America, in certain parts of the country, you have hoppin' john, which is the black-eyed peas and rice. There's just all kinds of traditions that you can choose to celebrate your way, obviously, depending on where you're from, what your culture is. I know there are many things. I know some of you probably saw the thing on Facebook yesterday that was being passed around, and it said, I'm going to say it, it said to make sure and go poop last night before midnight because you didn't want to carry it. Any of that into the new year. So I hope everybody took care of that. If you had to take Miralax or something to just knock that out, and I think it's an emotional thing. You're like, oh, okay, this is all out the window. We're done here. We're starting a whole new thing. Well, I sat down kind of, trying to get a feel for this, what Spirit was leading me, guiding me, which I trust they always do, because I'm honestly kind of like Alice in Wonderland. I mean, I'm just sometimes just kind of wandering around, oblivious to what's happening around me. I'm not real observant. I'm not going to lie. I don't pay attention probably a lot of times when I should, and every once in a while, Spirit will kind of tap me, and they'll say, focus, focus, like rein it in, focus. And I say, oh, it's like, because they're scolding me, because I'm drifting off somewhere, not paying attention, and I'll get this, and this is how they do it, I'll get this ringing in my ears, like literally the sound goes away, it just stops, and all I hear is them. I mean, it's that bad that they have to get my attention that way, and that's what will happen. It will all get silent, and then I'll hear, focus, pay attention, rein it in, because I'm like all over the place. So anyway, they were guiding me to this, to have this discussion. with you, and I started off with my husband, poor husband. You know, he's sitting there trying to watch football, which I was too, but at the same time, I said, you know, I kind of want to talk to you about something because they're impressing upon me to talk to you about this. And ordinarily during the year when I sit down with him to have a talk, it's more known as a come to Jesus meeting. You know, it's one of those kind of things where you say, okay, you know, we need to talk kind of thing. Rein it in, which I'm saying to him, focus, listen to me, are you hearing me? So he was sitting in the recliner and, you know, doesn't even lower the volume on the football game. And I'm like, I'm trying to talk to you. And I said, do you hear me? Do you hear me trying to talk to you? Are you hearing me? So he kind of looked at me like, well, he thought he could just keep watching the football and just kind of tune me out. But I was like, no, Spirit wants me to have this discussion with you. And this is part, I said, of what I'm going to talk about tomorrow to people. So this is important. If they're catching my attention, I'm catching your attention. So then they started giving me this comment, and it was really funny because I think they have to catch your attention, grab your attention somehow, some way. And what they were telling me was, you know, like the Outback, no rules, just right. And I'm like, huh? Like what? You know, I need more than that. And they were like, well, if people would just live right, there wouldn't even be a need for rules. So they were saying no rules, just right. So I kind of thought about that, and I said, yeah, you're right. If everybody, like I used to teach preschool and VPK, and I would tell everybody, keep your hands to yourself. Don't touch your friends. Keep your hands to you. And that would solve a whole lot of grown-up issues, obviously, too. If everybody would just keep their hands to themselves and not hurt their friends, we wouldn't even need that rule. It would just be right. So I thought, wow, okay, I can work with that. I get the point. I think they were trying to give me something that I could kind of like process or latch onto, some kind of visual or something. So I went with that, and then, you know, it was so many different things they were trying to show me. They were saying, you know, the end of the year, I think most of us do this little review, like I was telling my husband. I said, it's a time of the year where you have to reflect, because if you're planning on moving forward, which most of us were on the 31st of December, we made it all through the year. Well, it's a good time to reflect and look back. And that's what Spirit was telling me. No scolding, no scolding. It wasn't that, but they were like, look back at all the choices that you remember you made and how they affected people around you. That was a big thing. Not just how it affected you, because some of us are very, I hate to say it, but very self-centered, okay? It's like you don't see past you. Everything with some people is me, 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 I. How does this affect me? What am I going to get out of this? You know, good, bad, or ugly, whatever comes at you. It's how does it affect me? But at the same time, as I was explaining to him, your actions have a ripple effect. All of us, whatever we do, our actions affect someone along the chain, even if it's your cat or dog. I mean, your actions affect everyone, not just yourself. So when you look back and say, did I do the very best I could? Could I have done more with a certain situation or a certain person? Or did I just see me and how it affected me? Did I take the time to see if I hurt anyone, whether consciously or unconsciously. I know most people don't consciously make choices to hurt other people. Most people don't. Back to no rules, just right. But some people, unfortunately, just live for themselves, and they hurt a lot of people along the way. So I was trying to get him to make a conscious look back at the year and see, going into the new year, which, like I told him, we're closing the chapter on this page right here, and we're flipping over the page, and there's a whole new chapter coming up ahead. And you get to write your own chapter. This is your script. This is the whole beginning of a wonderful year if you choose to make it that way. And that's what Spirit was trying to get their point across as. This is your opportunity. January 1st, you have no excuse, because remember, you pooped before midnight. You got rid of all of that bad stuff yesterday. So if you were like, having dancing in the street or dancing on tabletops or doing tequila shots or just sitting in your recliner watching Ohio State lose, as they deserve. No, I'm just kidding. And like I said to him, sometimes, you're discussing things with people and, not consciously, but sometimes things just come out. And you don't even mean for it to come out, but then you're like, oh well, let me go about my business. And then you don't look at the trail of destruction left behind, what your words caused, because sometimes that is the case. It's almost like, when I was in the Air Force, and we would discuss certain places in the world that didn't always leave us with a favorable impression. People that we disagreed with or we thought were doing wrong. They were hurting people, they were destroying people. Kind of like what's going on right now with Russia and the Ukraine. But back in the day, when I was doing things with Desert Storm, which most of you all probably remember. Well, there was a lot of weaponry. There was a lot of military strength displayed. Some that a lot of people weren't even aware of, probably. But it just made you angry at these people that were hurting other people, and you almost had the idea or the belief that, okay, we have these superior weapons, like, why don't we use them more? That's what they're for. So I'm just giving you the mentality, the mindset. Like, okay, they're causing all this trouble. Okay, they're running rampant. They're forging into other countries' property and trying to take it over, and and here we are, like, observing all of this, and you have to rein it in. You have to control it, because believe it or not, I know most people that don't have that kind of military lifestyle or mindset don't always understand that the military is basically taught how to kill. That's what you're there for. You're there to protect our lands, our people, and anybody that's a threat. Well, how are we going to kill them? How are we going to handle this? How are we going to... Well, you know what? Between the air and the seas and everything else, It's covered. It's covered. And I think sometimes, you know, people, they don't trust the military because they always have these bizarre concepts of, you know, Roswell and the aliens and, oh, they're keeping secrets from us and they're hiding aliens out in Area 51 and, you know, they don't trust the government or the military, I should say. But reining it in, back to what I was saying was, okay, you go into a country, you're flying so high up, these jets that aren't even detectable. You know, they're like space, you know, creations. It's superpowers. It's almost like you're playing a game, you know, but these bullets and these bombs are hitting targets. So what I was saying about leaving this trail of destruction behind you, you don't see that. You just see target hit, you know? And it's like you're playing a game. But you're causing all this chaos and destruction, like I was saying. You know, look behind you sometimes. Obviously, you're not dropping bombs, but sometimes your words or actions can be just as devastating to people, and you just go about your business. So what Spirit was trying to say and get their point across was, look back on this year, a year where you reflect on good times, bad times, situations, how you handled them. Was it the best way? You know, could you have handled something better? And I think we all, nobody obviously is perfect, but I think we all could do a little bit of reflection. I know I have this past week. I've been thinking about everything, you know, that we all encountered this past year and thought, wow, could I have handled that better? And what do I know now, you know, that I could have said, I should have said or should have done, and you let opportunities slip by you? I know I've heard, I think it's AA and probably NA, they have their steps, you know, steps that they have to go through. I think it's 12 steps or something. And one of them is to make amends, you know, to make amends to all the people that you possibly hurt by your actions. And I think we all should kind of take that to heart too, to kind of look back and say, wow, you know, I think I handled that badly. And, you know, it's still not too late. As you reflect on things, your actions of the past months, it's a good opportunity to take that step and make amends towards someone that possibly you left in your wake, you know, your bombing, you know, your destruction, how you hurt somebody. So this is a good opportunity. Spirit wants to remind us, like I was saying about the thing by midnight last night, finish it out, leave it behind, and turn the page and start your whole new chapter. And I was kind of bringing this out, and I know Spirit was making me do it at that particular time, because I think we all need to do it. None of us is perfect, and unfortunately, sometimes, yeah, we do leave that path of destruction behind us and don't look back. So I'm asking today that you do, that you look back, so that you can carry this forward into the future beginning today. And it's almost like a whole new cycle starts where you're more conscious of your words, more conscious of your choices, more conscious of your actions and how they're going to affect the people around you. And not just your family, it's everyone you come in contact with. And we all know that. You can go someplace and walk in and go into a store, and if the people are looking, you know, very angry, the clerks are angry, they're stressed, they're overwhelmed, they're overloaded, they're overworked, nobody's happy. and you walk into that, and it's almost like sometimes you want to turn around and just leave, but you're there for a purpose to purchase something or whatever. So you go about your business, but you pick up on that energy, that really sad, angry energy, and you have to make a conscious effort not to take that with you when you walk out of there, because what's going to happen? You know, then you go on to the next person, probably your family or your co-workers, and here you go, leaving this path of destruction behind you because you absorbed it going in there. So we all need to be more conscious of protecting ourselves when we go in and out of these places, and don't bring these things home, to your home or to your workplace or whatever, because these things affect everybody. I mean, look around you, and I don't mean literally right now look around you, I mean look around you, your core group, who you spend your time with, whether it's your family, your co-workers, etc., whether it's the dog or cat. There's a ripple effect. There's always a ripple effect. So when I was listening to Spirit, and they were trying to give me this Outback theme, like no rules, just right. So I'm like, okay, so if we didn't have any rules, obviously most of us in society would think, oh, anarchy, you know, like chaos, the purge, whatever, however you want to put it, no rules. But then they said no, if everyone was just right, you wouldn't even need the rules to begin with. If everyone learned that lesson back in preschool about keeping your hands to yourself, you know, there wouldn't be any murder or violence or, you know, not coveting others' possessions, you know, not taking over a country just because you want to and you want more, you know. I'm not going to mention any names, but unfortunately, you know, with the case going on right now in the world, if you look at it, that pretty much sums it up. You know, there's a big bully, and he just, you know, he wants more. He wants more for whatever reasons, assets or whatever the case is, and he's causing this horrible wake of destruction behind him. So we can only hope, you know, that this all comes to an end somehow, you know, whether it be, you know, by bombs or, you know, no, I'm just saying. Hopefully this will all be resolved soon, and we can move on from this unpleasant, horrific situation that is captivating the world because it's in the news every day. So like Spirit was trying to let me know, your actions do have a ripple effect. And look back, like I've done the past few days. I was traveling and going about, and I had a lot of time to reflect that sometimes I probably didn't, and I'll be the first to admit, I probably didn't make the best choices, and it's usually dealing with your own family members because that's your core group. So it's usually, you know, loved ones that bear the brunt of our anger or frustration at what's going on or what we encountered that day, whether it's in the workplace or driving on I-4, which, you know, would cause anybody, I think, to want to drop a bomb on I-4 maybe or something. Don't report me to the FBI. They already have my fingerprints. We've already talked. We're good. It's just a little bit of anger and frustration at the traffic, which we all know and love here in Florida. But Spirit just wanted to, everyone consciously, just take this time, look back. It's never too late to make amends, even if it's for getting it off of you. The other person, maybe they moved on from it, they handled it, you know, they took it in stride, dealt with it and moved on, but sometimes it's still right here in us, and we're carrying it forward, so it's not doing you any good. So if you didn't do the thing you were supposed to do by midnight last night, it's not too late to take care of that, you know, before noontime today. So, you're from 12 to 12. So somewhere in there, yeah, we'll take care of it. So I'm only asking, as Spirit reminded me, no rules, just right. And celebrate the new year. Let it be a new chapter of your good year. This can be one of your best years if you allow it, if you attract it, if you put it out there right now to the universe that I'm not going to accept anything less than the best, you will attract that back to you. And it won't be the year of the purge or, you know, all these other negative things that we've encountered with hurting people and destroying things and people. So just make that effort and see what you can do this year with the promise of what Spirit is letting us know is available to us in the universe. If we reach out to you, if you put it out there, and your intent is pure, and always, as Spirit says, you must do your part, which we all know, then it will come to you. And this could probably be one of your best years ever. I'm going with that, okay? In fact, I'm so going with it that I'm having a colonoscopy in a couple of days, so I'm clearing it all out. And I'm going to start all over, okay? I mean, literally, I'm just like, shh, okay, I have no excuse to just move forward with a new chart, a clean slate, and hope for the best. And I'm going to do my best. I'm going to be more conscious about not lecturing my husband or, you know, reminding him to take the trash out or, you know, pick up something off the floor that he's walked by for 2 days because